welcome once again to Spice Club. Um, this month we are going to be making sambar. Sambar is a South Indian lentil and vegetable stew. The key ingredient to sambar is the sambar masala, which I have prepared for you, and it is in your spice packets this month. We will learn how to do this very simply. They're very complex sambar, but this is going to be a simple one pot stew. Um, you could make lentils separately, you could make the vegetables separately, you could bring the two together at some point, but we're not going to be doing that. We're going to be making it as simple as possible, just as an introduction, and then you can expand on that at some point. Um, there are over 200 recipes last count for sambar. It's a very, very popular South Indian dish. Most homes will make it 3 or 4 times a week. Uh, and each home will make it differently. The masala is different. The way they make it is different. The lentil that they use is different. We are going to be using moong dal, but you can use any lentil if you cannot find moong dal. We do have it here at the co-op, but if you cannot find it anywhere else, you can use any other lentil that you want to. You can use a red lentil, you can use a green lentil, whatever lentil you want. Like I said, there's over 200 recipes for sambar using different lentils, using different vegetables, all of that. There's one more thing that I'm really excited to show you this month, and that is what we call tempering. Tempering is heating seeds and spices and adding it as a top layer to food. So we mostly use oil as the base, so a couple of tablespoons of oil, and then we add seeds and spices to it. And the reason we do that is because that heat allows all of that stored oil in that seed to come out and flavor the oil. And then you add that as a top layer to your dish. And it just gives you that first level of flavor that you have is of those spices. So go grab your spice box and your ingredients and come back and we will cook together. And once again, thank you for having me in your space and enjoy the process.
Here are all my ingredients: lentils with extra chili, cilantro, garlic ginger, onion, rice for the side dish, cauliflower, sambar masala that came in your spice kit, red pepper, carrot, parsnip, green beans, and your tempering packet, which we will put aside for now. I need to get 2 cups of vegetables from this combination. Let's begin. Grab a heavy bottom saucepan. Add 4 cups of water to this. I'm adding some extra chili for spiciness. Add your lentils. 1 teaspoon of salt. 1 tablespoon of your sambar masala. Cover, bring to a boil, and reduce to a simmer. While the lentils are cooking, let's prepare the vegetable. Peel and dice your vegetable to bite-sized pieces. I have carrots, parsnip, cauliflower. I am going to cut these green beans into bite-sized pieces. Let's also mince our garlic ginger. You need a sliver of ginger, a sliver or 2. It doesn't make a big difference if you add a little bit more or less than a teaspoon, which is what the recipe calls for. You also need to crush and mince your garlic. dice your pepper. You need a cup of onion diced, 1 tomato diced, cilantro, ends for cooking in the lentil, leaves for garnishing. After 10 minutes, I'm curious about the lentils. I want to see how far along they are. They are looking good, but not quite done. So I will recover and cook it for another 10 minutes. So another 10 minutes has passed, and I am using a whisk, as you can see here, to help break down the lentils even further. They are quite mushy and right at the point where we start adding the vegetables to it. So I'm adding my vegetables in no particular order because I have chosen vegetables that need the same amount of cooking time. So tomatoes, cilantro goes in, the cauliflower, garlic, ginger, onions, peppers, everything goes in at this point. Everything that you have prepared goes in at this point. If you have chosen among your vegetables one that requires a longer cooking time, for example, potatoes, then you would add that first. You would let it cook for 5 minutes, and then you would add the rest of your vegetables. Stir this really well. As you can see, it's rather thick, so I'll be adding 2 cups of water at this time. You could add more or less. I will also be adding my sambar powder at this time, 3 tablespoons, but you can also add 2 or 4 depending on how spicy you want it. Add 1 teaspoon salt. Stir very well. Then cover and simmer for approximately 20 minutes. Use this time to prepare our rice. 1 cup of washed rice, 2 cups of water. We will cover and simmer this for about 15 minutes until all the water is absorbed. Keeping an eye on the sambar, I take a look at it, check the vegetables. They're not quite soft yet. This is after 10 minutes of cooking, so it probably does require another 10 minutes of cooking. You can decide this based on the vegetables that you are using. I will cover this once more and give it an additional 10 minutes. And here we are after 20 minutes of simmering. This looks wonderful. I think it's done, so I'm going to call it done. And we're going to do the last step, which is tempering. So now it's time to add that final layer of flavor to your sambar. So grab a small frying pan and add 2 tablespoons of high heat oil. And let's take a look at that tempering packet that came with your spice kit. So here you could see it has a whole chili. It has some mustard seeds, fenugreek seeds. It has some cumin seeds. Once the oil is hot, add that entire packet to the oil. And it will splatter and sputter, so cover it really quickly. Listen to it really well. Once the sputtering has slowed down, add it to your sambar stew. And there you have it. Garnish with cilantro. And this is almost ready for your table. Your rice should also be ready, so fluff and cover and let it sit for another 2 minutes. Stir well and transfer to a serving bowl of your choice. This could be served on the side as a side dish or as the main course. It could also be served directly on top of the rice. Enjoy your meal. Thank you for sharing your space with me.